We just talked about the drama in Dallas. There's another team that has a bunch of drama seemingly every single year that comes with success, I guess. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Yeah, out there in San Fran, stay in California. How would you handle the situation? Obviously, Trent Williams is holding out. I think, arguably the best tackle in football. You obviously got the Brandon Aiyuk situation. I think the rookie, Ricky, just came off of the injury list. How would you handle that situation going forward? Would you try to handle it now before you get closer to the season, and avoid the Nick Bosa situation where he didn't get off to that start he wanted to?
Well, the Trent Williams one I think is paramount for the 49ers. That offensive line, when it isn't in a play-action pass game, struggles in a drop-back fashion. That's why Kyle Shanahan's records when he's behind hasn't always been very good. We've all seen those numbers. I mean, Trent Williams is their best player in terms of the offensive line by far. He's the leader of the team. He wears the C on his uniform. So they've got to get him done, and I think they're smart enough to know they've got to get him done. To me, the Aiyuk one's interesting. We just saw DJ Moore get done by the Bears. It was $27 million a year, which didn't come close to anything that we see at whether it's 32, 35 for Jefferson. So to me, there's got to be a deadline on Brandon Aiyuk. Either you take this deal and that's the best we're going to offer you, or you play on your fifth year, or you retire from football. I mean, there's three things you're going to do.
Whoa.
But somebody's got to make that decision. I mean, this thing can't keep lingering on. At some point, you have to be a leader and say, okay, enough is enough. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here. I know everybody's sensitive. We have to treat everybody wonderful. We'll go to Dairy Queen after the game and all that crap. But at some point, we got to make a decision. We're running a business here. Either you want this deal or you don't want the deal. You got a fifth year. It's a contract by your union. You negotiated it. So either you play on that fifth year, you take our offer, which we've negotiated in good faith. We want you on the team. But this isn't going to really get resolved until next offseason when they make a decision to either keep Debo or to keep Brandon Aiyuk. They're going to have to make that call within their cap structure. But Trent Williams, I'm getting done right away. I'm going to make sure I get him done. I'll fold my tent for Trent Williams. I'm not folding my tent for somebody else.
Trent Williams is a weapon. We didn't even know that was potentially even an issue for John Lynch until training camp started.
There's a lot of these, Pat, that nobody knows about that's going on. I mean, we all saw it. I'm sure Boston saw it there. Matt Judon, that's been going on all off season, right? Gottschall, the other defensive lineman, that's been going on all off season.
Wirfs.
I think there's a little. There's a Wirf's been going on. There's a bunch of these, and because of the money that's coming in, these players, you're going to have to be proactive and deal with it. Now, Jason Light, the GM of the Bucs, said, "Hey, we're going to get Wirfs done." They have to get Wirfs done because they need him. This is a team last year that was 32nd in the league in rushing, and the year before with Tom Brady, they were 32nd in the year in rushing. They've got a first-round pick at center. They got a first-round pick at guard. They got a second-round pick at right tackle. I mean, they put money into this line. They got to be able to pass. They got to be able to run block.
All these, drama things that pop up around training camp are interesting because you almost have to tier it. The tiers. You just said, hey, Wirfs, you have to get done. Trent, you got to get done. And then Aiyuk, it's like, hey, Aiyuk, we're going to have to see next year how this whole thing goes, but here's an offer in this. That's why you get paid to be the GM, though, I guess. That's why there's 32.
Right. You can't be like Danny O and give everybody money. Danny's got that monopoly board. He just hands out money to everybody.
Dan Orlovsky, what do you mean?
Bro, Dan, I love Dan.
He wants to give everybody money. I mean, he's praise the Lord to pass the money. I mean, he just wants to pass it all out. We
do too. Yeah, we want everybody to be a billionaire. So this is a little different. You're GM, we're player.
Somebody's got to say no. And I think here's the real reality.
That's going to be my wife with Mackenzie.
This is a little cold, but there are some players that are replaceable, and there are some players who are non-replaceable. So you got to pay the non-replaceable player. Like Parsons, you can't replace him. You can't replace Trent Williams. It's hard to find left tackles. You don't walk down the street, oh, there's a left tackle. Oh, there's a left tackle. Like those are hard players to find, and you get one, you better pay them.
Well, that's what Dak Prescott's saying.
You could never overpay for a great player.
Amen.
You could never overpay for a great player. You overpay for good players.
Everything that ends up being good, that is a business, thing that is considered overpaid at the beginning, never gets talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, because was it overpaid? Mm-hmm. No, absolutely not. It ended up working out. So it's always the things that fail, which is going to happen. Things are not going to work. You're going to get screwed. You're going to misread evaluation on something. You're going to pay too much and it's not going to work. Those are always the ones that get talked about. But the ones that get this is ridiculous, then it ends up working out. It's like, that guy set the market. That guy rechanged the entire market.
Hey, Look at Fox Television. I mean, look, if they don't, they outbid CBS for that deal back in the early 90s. NFL. Everybody said they paid a ridiculous sum. Ask him how that worked out.
Madden, we're paying him.
Yep. Yeah.
And then we're buying the NFL rights. And then all of a sudden now we are the number 2 network, basically, in the world. It's like, did you pay too much if it ends up working out? Never. Did you pay too much if it backfires? Absolutely. And you get fired immediately.
That's what they said about Jerry, too. Everything Jerry did, he said, everyone said I overpaid for the Cowboys. Well, it's the most valuable franchise in all of sports. So did I? I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. And if you overpay, did you really? Because you're only worth what somebody's willing to pay you. So you're never really overpaid or underpaid. You're actually
Jerry is amazing because when he first bought that team, Pat, we were at the Browns and we were in the playoffs in '87. And we went down to Dallas to practice in his facility because back then nobody had indoor facilities at all. And we had to get out of the cold in Cleveland. And when Jerry bought the Cowboys, he was so leveraged, he closed half the building to save on his heating expenses. And he moved everybody from one part of everybody was moved into another part of the offices to cut down on his expenses because he leveraged himself out. And look what happened.